This is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. A sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. And now, here is Alex C.
All right, let me put on my handy-dandy glasses here. Let's get this show started. This is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C., a sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. Statue of Kobe Bryant. Now, as you know, there was a Kobe Bryant statue along with his daughter, Gianna, placed at the crash site. It is the anniversary of their passing, and I was looking at the picture of it. Man, it's a great-looking statue. It's a statue, again, of late Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gianna. It was placed on the side of their helicopter crash in Calabasas, California, 2 years to the day of the tragic deaths of them and 7 others. The statue was created by a sculptor. His name was Dan Medina. It showed Kobe in his Lakers uniform with his arm around Gianna, who was also wearing a uniform while holding a basketball by her side. The two were looking at each other with big smiles. And again, it is a great looking statue. I'm looking at the picture right now. Absolutely gorgeous. If you get a chance, Google it, everybody. It is a beautiful sight to see. There's a lot of stories going on. Lots of talk's been going on for the past couple of days in regards to James Harden. Is James Harden happy in Brooklyn? Is he not happy in Brooklyn? But the Brooklyn Nets will not listen to any trade talk in regards to James Harden. There are some rumors about teams that have approached the Brooklyn Nets about James Harden. However, it doesn't matter to the Brooklyn Nets. They're not interested in entertaining any kind of a trade when it comes to James Harden, and it would be a mistake too. I get it. James Harden could be looking at other teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, where he could go and make a difference with the team that's already on the right path, and he could possibly enhance that path and make them that much better and that much more of a contender. They got some problems going on in Brooklyn, health concerns in regards to Kevin Durant, what's going on, of course, with Kyrie Irving, although I think the Kyrie Irving thing is blown out of proportion and it's not as bad as the national media wants you to believe it is. But with that being said, I mean, it would make sense that James Harden might be interested in entertaining some trade talk. But the Brooklyn Nets themselves are not in any way, shape, or form interested in any trade talk. So therefore, that has pretty much been put to rest. Regular season's behind us now. As far as the NFL goes, we have 7 head coaching positions available right now. The first 2 hires of this job cycle were made today, with the Denver Broncos hiring Nathaniel Hackett and the Chicago Bears reportedly hiring the Colts' Matt Eberflus. And I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, Eberflus, I'm not really sure. But again, big congratulations going out to Matt and Nathaniel. However, with that being said, before I go any further, I got to admit, my personal opinion, and I know my take is going to be very different from the national media's take. The national media, of course, doing a far reach, saying that now that Nathaniel Hackett has been hired by the Denver Broncos, and since allegedly Aaron Rodgers happens to love Nathaniel Hackett, because I guess he was the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, that they did so because Aaron Rodgers is going to be joining Nathaniel Hackett in Denver to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. That, of course, is what the national media is trying to feed you. I have been saying for a long time, national media tries to build headlines where there are no headlines, tries to tell stories that aren't really true, just to sensationalize and to get you people to tune in and listen to what they're saying. Maybe, have you believe them like they're a real credible source in regards to, the things they have to say. But keep in mind, the national media gets it wrong way more than they ever get it right. And I think this is going to be another instance where the national media gets it wrong. I'm not even convinced that Aaron Rodgers is going to be leaving Green Bay. And that is a whole nother debate that maybe we'll talk about right now. Because the thing is this, for Aaron Rodgers to leave Green Bay first and foremost would be the worst move he could make if he truly is interested in competing for a Super Bowl title. Because Green Bay has the best opportunity for him first and foremost to get back to the playoffs. That's number one. Number two, he knows the coaching staff. He knows the players. He knows the team. The general manager and the management staff in Green Bay can easily work their magic to get everybody re-signed to the Green Bay Packers, all right? They can, pay the whatever that fee is they pay when they go over the salary cap. They can go ahead and pay that. They can go ahead and pay these other players. Other teams do it all the time. There's no reason in the world why Green Bay wouldn't do it, especially if they believe they're going to have the ability to make a run at the Super Bowl. So why would they not want to pay the tax? Go ahead and pay the tax. overpay a few of these players that they have to overpay in order to keep Aaron Rodgers happy and to keep Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay and make another Super Bowl run, or at least an attempt at a Super Bowl run. Now, they do have a lot of areas of concern that they do have to address, starting with the offensive line. And again, those defensive linebackers need to be upgraded. The secondary needs to be upgraded. They got one great player, obviously, in the secondary. They need at least one more. They definitely got to, again, as far as the linebacker core goes, they got to do some upgrades there. They got to do some upgrades on that offensive line. The defensive line is perfectly fine. You don't necessarily have to make any upgrades, but if you could find anybody in the draft that you think would help out your defensive line, why not go ahead and draft yourself a couple of defensive linemen? Wide receiver-wise, you're absolutely fine. You just need to re-sign what you have. Running back room, you're absolutely fine. You just need to make sure those guys contractually are happy with what they currently have. As long as you do that, you're pretty much bringing back everybody you need to bring. And in the draft, maybe you draft you a nice little wide receiver that you think might be a good addition to the weaponry that Aaron Rodgers has at his disposal. And then, of course, you also want to make sure, like I said, that you shore up that linebacker core and the offensive line, which, you know, at times has not done a very good job in regards to securing the pocket for Aaron Rodgers. Keep in mind, he's a pocket quarterback. He's not a mobile quarterback, so he's not going to run. He's not going to go and get you 5, 10, 15 yards down the field. He will move outside the pocket when necessary. He's good at moving up in the pocket when necessary, but he's not a runner. He's not a quarterback that you want to take a hit to begin with. Keep in mind, he's like 38, 39 years of age. You definitely don't want him to take a lot of hits, and you wouldn't want him to take a lot of hits even if he was only 30 years of age. So you want to shore up that offensive line. But if they do those things, then Green Bay will have a shot, obviously, at making a run to the Super Bowl. But without a doubt, with the team intact, just the way it is now, they're automatically guaranteed being in, again, that horrific division that they're in. Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears. They're going to get their 6 wins right off the bat. They only got to figure out how to get 4 more. That automatically puts you in the playoffs. Now you're just trying to figure out how to win the division and get the number 1 seed, if at all possible, so you can get that bye, just like you did this year, and then move directly into the divisional round. You know, win that game, win the NFC Championship game, get yourself back into the Super Bowl. That is the formula for getting Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers back to the Super Bowl. That's what you're going to want to do if you're the management for the Green Bay Packers. And the path is there. You're just going to pay the luxury tax. That's the term that I was looking for. You're just going to pay the luxury tax because you're going to go over the salary cap. And I believe you're already over the salary cap now, if I understood the stories correctly. But again, big deal. Pay the luxury tax. Make a run to the Super Bowl. A luxury tax is more than worth it for the TV contracts that you're going to continue to get, which will continue to go up because you're continuing to win and you're continuing to be a threat for the Super Bowl. Not to mention, you're going to get a lot of jersey sales, a lot of paraphernalia being sold because you're continuing to win, you're continuing to be a threat, and you got arguably one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. However, you got to do the upgrades because Aaron Rodgers is not and has never been a quarterback you can put the team on his shoulders and expect him to lead you to the promised land. He has to have all the other tools, all the other weapons, if you want to have a true legitimate shot at making a run for the Super Bowl. Again, if you can get another wide receiver in the draft, a nice young guy with some speed who could take the top off the defense, get him. And you have to get that linebacker room upgraded. You got to get that defense to be able to keep the scoring of the opponents down. 21 and below. You got to make sure you're doing that week in and week out. You want to shore up that linebacker room. You got to shore up that offensive line so your run game can be more consistent. You don't have a consistent run game because you don't have an offensive line that can give them the holes that they need in order to consistently be able to run against top-ranked defenses. They need to shore up that offensive line. And then, of course, if they can get a little secondary help, go get a little secondary help. If you don't, you're good enough on secondary, but you got to do the linebacker room. You got to do the offensive line. You got to maybe, again, get a couple of young guys on the offensive side of the ball in the wide receiver room to have some speed, take the top off of the defense, make them back up, keep them honest. Don't let them crowd you in the front. That way you can run the ball more efficiently, more effective. Play action becomes more effective, which Aaron Rodgers will then be that much more effective, right? You don't get one-dimensional. In the playoffs, it seems like every time the Packers go to the playoffs, they become very one-dimensional. They're not able to run the ball. They're not able to stop the run because the defense has never been good enough, because they're always overrated and they're always over talked about. Because again, you're going against bad competition in the regular season because your division's bad. Again, Vikings, Bears, Lions, padding stats, making your defense sound like it's a lot better than they are. And then when they end up going against true competition that is playoff competition, you find out just how bad your defense is because they have never been able to stop the run. That has always been the number one Achilles heel weakness of the Green Bay Packers defense, is they don't have the ability to stop the run. They have to figure out how to stop the run. They've never been able to do it. They might even have to make a move in regards to their defensive coordinator. And now that they lost their offensive coordinator because he took the head coaching job in Denver, you want to probably make a move as far as getting a defensive coordinator. Get somebody in who can come in and be a difference maker and stout that run defense. Make that run defense your absolute number one priority in the offseason. Make it your priority. If you do nothing else this offseason and you shore up that run defense, that it's legitimate, where you're not only looking good when you're against the Vikings, the Packers, and the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions in your own division, and you're able to do good, solid run defense against quality playoff contending teams, then you're going to be that much more a contender and that much more viable to make a Super Bowl run in the upcoming 21-22 season. That's what they need to do. That's what their focus needs to be. That's where they're going to hit the home run if they can make it happen. Again, maybe you do, maybe you don't get a new defensive coordinator, but you better shore up that linebacker room and you better come up with some schemes to be able to stop the run against good quality playoff potential teams, not just against the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. You got to be able to do it week in and week out because you're a lot like the Cowboys. You look good against the division, which is, again, the worst in the NFC and the worst in the NFL as far as that goes. And Dallas pads a lot of stats when they're against Washington, Philadelphia, and New York. But when they go up against everybody else, they're average at best, below average when they go up against playoff contenders. That's not what you want to be if you're the Green Bay Packers. And again, I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to leave. I do believe the management is going to do all the things that I just said. And of course, maybe they'll do something better and different than what I'm thinking. I'm not an expert, but I do know that they got to get that linebacker room and they got to get that run defense to be real, to be legitimate, not just looking good when you're playing within your division. They absolutely have to make that move. If they do nothing else that I just said, they absolutely, positively, without a doubt, unequivocally have to make that move right there, shore up that linebacker room and shore up that rush defense where they can handle the rush from a true playoff contending team, not just padding stats and looking good when they're playing against their own division. So again, for this guy, Nathaniel Hackett, to get the job, to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos, and pretty much it sounds like the whole reason why you hired the guy is because you think Aaron Rodgers is now going to follow him over and he's now going to be the quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And I know a lot of Denver media is talking about it. I heard about Denver media talking about it today. Denver Bronco fans are talking about it. Now Nathaniel Hackett is here. Aaron Rodgers better be joining him. Does that mean he's coming? And of course, you got the percentage of people that think it's an automatic deal that he is coming. And you got a lot of people saying that there's talks and discussions. And allegedly there's a report that Aaron Rodgers told reporters that he would go to Denver, but not without Nathaniel Hackett being the head coach of the Denver Broncos. And now that Nathaniel Hackett is the head coach of the Denver Broncos, now it's a given that Aaron Rodgers is going to go and he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And I don't think it's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay. It's his best bet. Think about it. If he goes to Denver, what does he have to work with? So you got a head coach that used to be your guy in Green Bay. Congratulations. How about the rest of that roster? The rest of that roster that is not very good. I heard some guys talking today about, oh, well, Denver's great. They're good. They're just a quarterback away from being able to compete against Las Vegas and LA Chargers. Oh, you mean two teams that aren't very good? That's the aspirations Aaron Rodgers should have, to be able to compete with two teams that don't have a prayer over the next coming up 5 seasons to ever make a Super Bowl run. And I could make the argument the Chargers will never make a Super Bowl run because, let's face it, they traditionally are not the Detroit Lions, but they are the Detroit Lions in a different way. They show you promise, they make you think something's going to happen, and then the bottom falls out. That's the Chargers. That's what they're consistent on. And that head coach for the Chargers, he's horrible. So the Chargers don't have a shot at being a Super Bowl contender. The Raiders don't have a shot at being a Super Bowl contender. So if you're telling me that Aaron Rodgers going to play for the Broncos is somehow going to make them a contender against the Raiders and the Chargers, that's hardly an aspiration to reach for. And the national media to say that what a great job that would be, because now you'd be able to compete with the Raiders and who cares what the Raiders and Chargers are doing? Who are they threatening to go to the Super Bowl with? What are they threatening to do that's so special? Why would you bring up the Raiders? I would never bring up the Raiders and Chargers if I'm talking about making a Super Bowl run. Why would I bring up those two losing organizations and those two loser teams? Because that's what they are. And for everybody consistently, year in and year out, to make the garbage statement that they always make, oh, the Denver Broncos, they got a roster. It's built. It's Super Bowl ready. The only thing missing is a quarterback. Really? How many quarterbacks have you had and it still hasn't worked out yet? How many quarterbacks have you had and it still hasn't worked? You're going to tell me that every quarterback that Denver has had has been bad? You're going to tell me that every head coach that you've had is bad? No, it's the roster. It's the roster. Eventually, you're going to hit on a coach. Eventually, you're going to hit on a quarterback. And I'll make the argument, you probably got the quarterback now in Drew Lock. The problem is you don't have the rest of the roster that you think you got. Where's the defense? Who are the wide receivers that are so great? How about the running backs that are so great? How about that offensive line that's supposed to protect the quarterback? I didn't see anything out of any of those part of the games for the Denver Broncos that showed me that these guys are ready to contend for a Super Bowl. But I do believe Drew Lock is the quarterback. But you've failed miserably on the coaches. You don't have a stout defense like the national media wants you to believe. Quit listening to the national media. You don't have an offensive line that's as good as the national media wants you to believe. Quit listening to the national media. These guys are nothing but a bunch of rah-rah cheerleaders that make everybody think they're better than what they are because they don't want to lose the ability to be able to interview people in the locker rooms. That's why the national media talks the garbage that they talk. I don't trust the national media because they got a motive, and their motive is to not upset anybody so they don't lose the ability to be able to interview people. Because if they talk the way I talked about teams, which is in the world of reality, they're not going to get a lot of interviews more than likely. I'm sure if I worked for a national media outlet, I probably would have a lot of locker rooms that wouldn't be happy if I was the guy walking into the locker room, because I'm not going to sit there and be a rah-rah cheerleader like the national media is and tell them a bunch of things that aren't true about how great they are, and then be scratching my head at the end of the season when they're, only 6 wins deep as far as the season went. So that's not me. I'm more realistic because I want people to think I'm credible, that I actually know what I'm talking about, unlike these national media guys. And I love these former players, one in particular, who loves to talk about the fact that he's a national figure, and that because he was a former NFL player that he knows everything about football and he knows all these executives and he has all these discussions with people. That's great. That's great. Just because you're a former player doesn't mean you know how to run a team, doesn't mean you know how to be a coach, doesn't mean you know how to be a general manager. Just because you're a player does not mean you are qualified to do those jobs. Fact, not fiction. And that goes for any industry. Just because you're a cop doesn't mean you know how to be an attorney. Doesn't mean you know the laws inside and out because you're a cop. You're not an attorney. You were trained to do certain things, but you don't know it all. In the NFL, players are trained to do certain things, but that doesn't mean you know how to run a team. Just because you were a construction worker and you were a construction worker for 15 years doesn't mean you can turn out to be a great foreman or an owner. So, folks, that's fact, not fiction. That's the reality of life. Just because you used to play doesn't mean you know everything. Does not mean you know everything at all. I can't tell you how many times I have watched people who have been former radio DJs turn around, buy a radio station, and fail and have to turn around and sell it after a couple of years because they don't know how to run a radio station. Or fail and get fired from being a general manager of a radio station because they don't know how to run a radio station. Just because you worked in a radio station doesn't mean you know how to run one. Just because you played in the NFL doesn't mean you know how to run a team, coach a team, manage a team. Does not mean you are qualified. Certain people learn, others don't. Certain people have thoughts and ideas, most fail. Fact, not fiction. Doesn't matter the industry. Aaron Rodgers' best opportunity to succeed would be to stay with the Green Bay Packers. If you're telling me they're going to Denver and all you're going to aspire to is to compete against the lowly Raiders and the lowly Chargers, and that's what Aaron Rodgers should aspire to, then basically you're just looking for a news story, and you're obviously not thinking that Aaron Rodgers has the ability to compete for a Super Bowl ever again. And besides, his best opportunity, if he left Green Bay, he's not going to. I do not believe it's going to happen. But if he did, I could easily make the argument that he would be better off in Pittsburgh than he would in Denver. And Pittsburgh's not even the best stop, but he would be better off in Pittsburgh. Better defense, better offensive line, better wide receivers, comparable, but I personally think better when healthy. And the run game's not as good, but if they can shore up that offensive line in Pittsburgh, and I'm sure Tomlinson would do that, obviously, especially with the kind of talent that Aaron Rodgers would be bringing to the table. I'm sure he would make sure he shored up that offensive line. But the defense is better. That's the biggest plus. Wide receivers, a little bit of an upgrade. That's a plus. Running back room, okay, you'll have to work on that. Offensive line, okay, you'll have to work on that. But you'd have a better opportunity being the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as going to the Super Bowl is concerned than being the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And realistically, that's not even the best position for him to go to, because the best position he can put himself into would be to go to be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee doesn't need a quarterback. They're perfectly fine where they are. However, but if he went to Tennessee, that is where he would have his best shot at winning a Super Bowl. Why? Now you do got not only one, but two powerful, solid running backs, a solid offensive line, a solid defense on the front seven and in the secondary. Now you have everything you need to keep it low scoring on the opposite side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers won't always be in scramble mode doing 2-minute drills to get a game-winning touchdown in the fourth quarter. And we're not talking about the regular season, because the regular season doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers can do anything he wants to in the regular season, but he's a failure when it comes to the postseason. And he's a failure because the Green Bay Packers have always been too reliant on Aaron Rodgers. But with a team like the Tennessee Titans, they would not be Aaron Rodgers reliant. They'd be able to run the ball like crazy with Derrick Henry and with the other running back, and I can't think of his name right now, I'm sorry. But they'd be able to run the ball like crazy. They've got two premier good wide receivers, and they've got a defense who's going to keep the scoring low on the opposite side of the ball. So they're going to be built, and they're going to be a full-blooded team playing team football, not Aaron Rodgers reliant football. That's why if he went to Tennessee, I'd put him as a lock to make it to the Super Bowl. Absolutely. Because they have all the things that I'm saying that Aaron is lacking in Green Bay. If Green Bay shores up that defense, gets that linebacker room to be a lot more stout, and they play real run defense, and they shore up that offensive line, you do those things, and again, add you a nice, fast little receiver from the draft, somebody who could take the top off the back of the end of a defense. You do those things, now Aaron Rodgers won't be so relied on in Green Bay. Now they'll be able to play team football. Now they'll have a defense that could keep the other side of the ball nice and flowing with low scoring. And Aaron Rodgers can be more of a game manager and less of a, scoremonger, somebody who has to hurry up and score because, you got to run it up to 30, 35, 37, 40 in order to win games because your defense can't stop anybody. Because that's the problem with Green Bay. They're so Aaron Rodgers reliant. Allow Aaron Rodgers to be more of a game manager than a game winner, because that doesn't work in the playoffs. That will never work in the playoffs. Look at all the quarterbacks who made it to the playoffs and who are being successful in the playoffs. They're game managers. They're not teams that are relying on the quarterbacks to be 100% of the offense and to execute consistently and constantly and drop 40. Now, granted, that did happen to Kansas City. However, Patrick Mahomes is that kind of a quarterback that he can pull it off. Plus, again, he had the luxury of a team that made a lot of bad decisions on the defensive coordinator side of the ball. We already had that discussion. I don't want to revisit it, but if there's somebody that could pull it off, it'd be Patrick Mahomes. But if he had to do that week in and week out, for instance, if he has to do it against Cincinnati this week, and if he had to do it again in the Super Bowl, would I think he has the ability to do that and win the Super Bowl like that? No. Would a team that has to rely on a quarterback to always put up 40 points to win games, make a run through the playoffs and then to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl? Predominantly, no. There'll always be the one exception to every now and then, but it's not a formula to win the Super Bowl. Game managers, people who can control the clock, defenses that can make critical stops at critical moments in the game. Those are things that Green Bay has never been able to enjoy. Never. That's been the problem with Green Bay. They're too reliant on Aaron Rodgers. And when you're going up against playoff talent week in and week out because you're actually in the playoffs, it's not going to work being that reliant on a quarterback. You've got to have a balanced attack, a balanced team, running game, pass game, and a defense that makes critical stops at critical moments and special teams that doesn't give up big plays. Another problem that Green Bay has always enjoyed. So again, they got a lot of things to clean up, but I believe they can do it. I believe they're going to go all in and try to do it. But if Aaron Rodgers were to leave, Denver shouldn't even be on your radar. Tennessee would be on your radar. The Pittsburgh Steelers are more realistic because Tennessee's not looking for a quarterback and they really don't need one. Pittsburgh's more realistic and they would be better as far as a fit goes for Aaron Rodgers. So if I'm Nathaniel Hackett, I'm embarrassed for the fact that I got the job predicated on the fact that they believe that I'm now going to have the pull and the ability to bring Aaron Rodgers. And then what's going to happen when he doesn't and he can't? And then Denver has the same season that they've always had. Because, again, they're going to make a move. They're going to get some kind of a quarterback in Denver. And then what are they going to say? Once again, we've got another quarterback that can't get it done. We've got to figure out how to get a superstar talent like an Aaron Rodgers here. That's the only way Denver can win. So Denver can only win if they have AAA plus quarterbacks. They can't win like everybody else does with A quarterbacks or B quarterbacks. The only way the Denver organization can win is if they have, a John Elway or a Peyton Manning. Outside of a talent like that, Denver's the only organization in the NFL that can't win a title. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. 0 cents. Zilch. Nada. None. Doesn't add up. Doesn't equate. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's hilarious. If I'm Nathaniel Hackett, I wouldn't have took the job, and I'd be embarrassed that I got the job, predicated on the fact that now they're expecting Aaron Rodgers to come join me. And again, what's going to happen when they look around and they're like, Aaron didn't join us, and then next year they're still a 6-win team? Then what? Then Nathaniel Hackett probably going to be looking for a next job. All right, with that being said, the Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, fired Urban Meyer on December 16th, less than one season after taking over, and we know they're going to be on the lookout for a permanent option, and they've already started requesting interviews with candidates. Same with the Las Vegas Raiders, who had interim coach Rick Bisaccia in place after John Gruden's resignation in October. They've been interviewing candidates as well. The Broncos were the next to fire their coach. Vic Fangio was let go after 3 seasons. And the day after the season ended, the Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, and Chicago Bears, they all fired their coaches. The New York Giants followed the day after, and the Houston Texans did 2 days later. New Orleans Saints coach, as you guys know, on Tuesday, Sean Payton said he was stepping away from the team. Now the rumor is, as it always is, he'll be the next coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Again, same story, national media, always got to point to the Cowboys. But let's talk about some of these jobs. So new coach Nathaniel Hackett is now with the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, again, hired the Green Bay's offensive coordinator to be the team's new head coach. Sources confirmed to the 4-letter network on Thursday that Hackett, who has worked with quarterbacks at all phases on development curve, was scheduled to interview with the Jaguars on Thursday, but the Broncos stepped in on Wednesday night to get a deal done that prevented him from going to Jacksonville at all. So that deal is done. Chicago Bears, they hired their new coach, Matt Eberflus. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He's the former Colts defensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus will be hired as the Bears' new head coach, sources told the 4-letter network's Adam Schefter. Eberflus, who is 51, will join the new general manager, Ryan Poles, in taking over a Bears team that went 6-11 in 2021 under Matt Nagy. And then, of course, you got to look at the opening, which is fresh. The New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, again, is now gone. Saints longtime coach Sean Payton, 58, has decided to step away from the team after 16 years. New Orleans missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 seasons with a 9-8 record in 2021. And, of course, you got to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, one that's been talked about for a long time. Urban Meyer was fired again on December 16th. And, of course, that's 1 season after he took over as the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it was reportedly for cause is what they're calling it in regards to the reason why they let him go. We know about the incidents on and off the field. Bottom line, Jacksonville still looking for their next coach. You also have the Minnesota Vikings. Mike Zimmer's gone. In 8 seasons with the Vikings, Zimmer had a 72-56-1 record and made 3 trips to the postseason in 15, 17, and 19 with 2 playoff wins. The Vikings fell short of reaching the playoffs in 2020 with a 7-9 record, and they fell short in 2021 also. So you got to look at the Miami Dolphins. Another one, former coach Brian Flores out. Flores was fired by the Dolphins after 3 seasons. General manager Chris Grier will remain with the team in his current role. I think that's a mistake, but again, I agree with the firing of Brian Flores. I think they should have also gotten rid of Chris Grier. Flores' career record was 24-25. So why the national media keeps saying that this guy, first and foremost, deserves to be a top candidate for the next head coaching job at one of these other 7 jobs that are available is beyond me. Record was 24-25. There is nothing impressive about that at all. I don't want to hear about a 7-game win streak. 24-25. Ask yourself this. What if he didn't have the 7-game win streak? What would his career record as a head coach be then? That's the question you should be asking, not who do you think should hire him. The guy's not ready. Needs to go back to being a coordinator somewhere else, do some more soul searching, figure out a better scheme, then get another opportunity down the road. New York Giants, Joe Judge got fired. The Giants fired Judge after 2 losing seasons with the team. The move came the day after general manager David Gettleman retired. Really, he got fired, but they let him retire. And don't even get me started on that conversation. Judge was a first-time head coach, went 10-23 in his 2 years. And the Houston Texans, David Coley, he was let go. They let him go 1 year after the longtime assistant became the oldest first-time NFL head coach at age 65. And the Las Vegas Raiders, John Gruden gone. Rich Bisaccia took over for Gruden and led them to the playoffs. But the Raiders are interviewing head coach candidates to take the full-time job. They also fired general manager Mike Mayock and are in need of a new GM. They should have done that a long time ago. Just my personal opinion. Now, ranking rookie classes from the 2021 NFL Draft. So let's talk about rookie classes. The New England Patriots, where they are ranked and why they are ranked is what we're going to be discussing. New England Patriots ranked number 1. Mac Jones was the most impressive rookie quarterback this season, earning an 80.4 PFF grade that ranked him 11th overall. Coming in at number 2, the Houston Texans. Why they're ranked here, the Texans benefit from the fact that there weren't really any expectations for their class because of how little draft capital they had at their disposal last offseason. But Davis Mills finished the season ranked 30th among quarterbacks in PFF grade, but he still finished with roughly 0.7 wins above a replacement level quarterback, which is strong outcome for a 3rd-round selection. Coming in at number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're ranked here because Kansas City found 2 above-average starters on the interior offensive line, including PFF's highest-graded center in 2021. Coming in at number 4, the Las Vegas Raiders. They're ranked here because after years of poor drafts that contributed to Las Vegas parting ways with general manager Mike Mayock this offseason, Las Vegas hit on several defensive players. Trayvon Moehrig and Nate Hobbs both landed on PFF's all-rookie team this season. Coming in at number 5, the Cleveland Browns. They're ranked here because Cleveland's first 2 selections in the 2021 NFL Draft stepped in and immediately contributed positively to their defense. Greg Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah both landed on PFF's 2021 all-rookie team. Coming in at number 6, the Detroit Lions. They landed here because Detroit owned 2 of the 12 most valuable non-quarterback rookies in the 2021 draft class, with first-round offensive tackle Penei Sewell and day 3 wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. Undrafted free agent cornerback Jerry Jacobs also ranked inside the top 25 among that group. Coming in at number 7, the Miami Dolphins. They're ranked here because Miami got impressive play from multiple rookies, with Jalen Waddle, Javon Holland, both impressing in their first campaigns. Also, coming in at number 8, the LA Chargers. They're ranked here because the Chargers couldn't have hoped for much more out of Rashawn Slater, who stepped into the NFL and finished the season as a second-team All-Pro left tackle behind Trent Williams. The rest of their draft is the reason that they're toward the middle of the pack. Joshua Palmer didn't earn any kind of significant role until late in the season, and Asante Samuel Jr. allowed a first down or touchdown on over 50% of his targets. Number 9, Philadelphia Eagles. Why they're ranked here. Devonta Smith showed that the ability to run routes and generate separation translates to the NFL level seamlessly, but his production was capped by the overall potency of the Eagles' passing offense. The number 10 rookie class belongs to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos found starting caliber players in Pat Surtain II and Javonte Williams, along with several potential future starters. Coming in at number 11, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears went all in by trading up for quarterback Justin Fields in the draft. While the former Ohio State Buckeye didn't have a banner season, it was slightly above expectation. Running back Khalil Herbert and quarterback Thomas Graham Jr. also helped the Bears, ranking as both day 3 picks were thrust into the starting lineup for a game or two and performed better than anyone could have ever expected. Number 12, the rookie class for the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons had a Defensive Player of the Year kind of season. He's the type of hybrid player capable of moving between the defensive line as an elite pass rusher. The number 13 rookie class belongs to the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona had only 3 of their draft picks play more than 50 snaps on either side of the ball. 2 of the 3, off-ball linebacker Zaven Collins and wide receiver Rondale Moore, generated more than 1/10 of a WAR, something only 49 total first-year players accomplish. Number 14, the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay took Georgia cornerback Eric Stokes with their first-round pick, and he ended up being one of the only rookies the team put in a substantial role. Stokes still managed to outproduce his draft slot as a round 1 pick by ranking in the top 15 among rookies in WAR generated. All right, the number 15 class belongs to the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans didn't have many rookies contributing in major roles, just 2 first-year players, off-ball linebacker Pete Werner and cornerback Paulson Adebo. Coming in at number 16, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers got contributions from their first 2 selections in Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth. Both of them played very well, I might add. I did watch a lot of Steeler football this year, and both of them very impressive. Number 17, the Seattle Seahawks. So Seattle selected only 3 players in 2021 due to various trades, and their top pick, wide receiver D. Eskridge, was an afterthought in the Seahawks offense. Needless to say, it would have been difficult for Seattle to perform significantly above or below expectations. Number 18, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's rookie class produced at a middling level in 2021. No rookie stood out, while few performed well below expectation. Number 19, the Atlanta Falcons. If it weren't for Kyle Pitts, the Falcons would be a lot lower on this ranking. Outside of Pitts, the rest of the rookie class combined for a negative WAR. Number 20, the New York Jets. Quarterback Zach Wilson started but missed some time due to injury before struggling for the rest of the season, averaging more than 3 seconds to throw and just 6.1 yards per attempt. Number 21, you have the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee got a combined 363 offensive and defensive snaps out of their first 3 draft picks, which doesn't include 4th-round selection at wide receiver Dez Fitzpatrick. Number 22, the Washington Football Team. First-round pick Jamin Davis discovered how difficult it is to play linebacker in today's NFL, struggling his way to a 44.5 PFF grade on the season. Number 23, the Cincinnati Bengals. After months of debate, you're not going to find many who will argue against Cincinnati's decision to draft Jamar Chase. Absolutely nobody can dispute that in any way, shape, or form. Number 24, the LA Rams. No Rams rookie played poorly enough to tank the rookie class's production rank, but none played well enough to elevate it from the bottom tier. Number 25, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens draft class was supposed to be impactful with 2 first-round selections, 2 third-round selections, and 4 more picks in the 4th and 5th rounds. Given that the results from players such as Rashad Bateman, Odafe Owahe, Brandon Stevens, and Ben Cleveland were somewhat underwhelming, none of those 4 players cleared 0.1 wins above a replacement-level player at their position. Number 26, the New York Giants. Kadarius Toney looked like a potentially lethal playmaker. Only Jamar Chase averaged more yards per route run among the rookies. Number 27, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills draft class biggest contributions came from their top 3 picks, as Greg Rosal, I don't know if I said that correctly, and Boogie Basham were each part of a strong defensive line rotation, while Spencer Brown played 726 snaps on the offensive line. Coming in at number 28, the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts were behind the 8 ball when it came to getting production over expectation from their draft class, given that second-round pick Dayu Adeyingo wasn't available until week 8 due to an Achilles injury. Number 29, the 49ers, trading up to number 3 overall for a quarterback who played only a few games in addition to a lackluster production from San Francisco's day 2 pick, brought the 49ers down to this point. Number 30, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars rookie class was always going to live and die with Trevor Lawrence's performance. There are plenty of excuses to be made for Lawrence, but the results were far from impressive. Lawrence finished the season ranked 27th among 32 qualifying quarterbacks in PFF grade. And at number 31, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay's rookie class came into the season with little expectations considering the team's veteran depth. The only rookie who played more than 100 snaps was first-round pick Joe Tryon Shoyinka. And the final 32 spot belongs to the Minnesota Vikings. While Minnesota offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw did play well as a rookie, he still ranked only 41st in the class of WAR generated. All right. Another thing really quickly I want to go over, Antonio Brown says he'll pursue legal action against Tampa Bay over his release. Big shock there. The guy just won't go away. I mean, this guy is just not going to go away. He is claiming that, you know, they owe him money, the $200,000 that he was offered for the opportunity to go get help psychologically was an insult. At least a lot of people think he was taking it as an insult. I mean, this Antonio Brown thing, this guy, he just will not go away. I don't know. I don't even have any thoughts on this. The way that the story goes is, you know, him and his attorney intend to pursue legal action against the team for releasing him after he said he was too injured to continue playing against the Jets earlier this month and claimed Coach Bruce Arians ignored his pleas not to re-enter the game. But again, we all know there's his story, there's Arians' story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. This one is too confusing to figure out. Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for today's podcast. I did have a couple other things I wanted to go over, but I am over time once again. Again, we have the NFC Championship. We have the AFC Championship. Both taking place on Sunday. We will discuss them both on Monday. You guys enjoy all the action, and we'll talk to you on Monday.